Hi there guys and welcome back. In this lesson we'll learn how to paint a water texture on our sphere like this one. To do that we'll use our reference circle and photos of water that will help apply the textures to our painting. It's good to learn how to create a water texture as it could be very useful for your illustrations. So, let's get to it. The brush I'm going to use is the same I've used for previous lessons. As I said, you won't find it in the standard Photoshop brushes, so you can create your own, download one online, or adjust one of the basic brushes available. Always try and achieve your own style. The eyedropper, I'll select the colour of the water from one of the photos and start painting straight onto the reference circle. We're going to create some waves, so it's interesting that the sphere isn't completely closed. There should be a space at the top, and you'll see how nice the effect looks. With a slightly darker tone, we'll paint the bottom part of the water, and this way we can add depth to the texture. Now, with the eyedropper tool, we'll select some of the tones we already have and we'll make a kind of wave here on the left. Paint more volume on the left than on the right, and leave some areas blank for the foam of the waves. So for the foam, I'll use a tone that's a little bit darker than white, so it stands out above the waves. And I'll paint around the edges of the water above the wave and also underneath to generate the volume of the water, filling in that space. So with a white colour and tones I've selected from the painting, I'll paint the shapes of the foam in the water. Try and make the strokes have a nice style and fit in with the painting. So remember, it's important that we take care of the shape of the stroke to give that style to the materials. So I can remove the circle every now and then to see how the water is looking without that reference. Actually, from here on, we can work without the reference for a while. So on top of the sphere, I'm going to paint a little bit of water to close the sphere. And I think the effect is quite nice. On the bottom of the sphere, I'll complete the shapes and, applying a bit of light, reflect the dark area at the back. I'm now going to take a turquoise tone to apply a bit of variety and colour to my texture. So I'm going to add the turquoise to the inside of the wave, and you'll see it gives us a really nice effect when we mix these blues in the same texture. I'll strengthen the white of the foam in certain areas to add volume to the waves. Now I'll select a slightly darker tone than the one I have at the bottom and apply more depth to the material. I don't want to go overboard with the dark colour, so I'll just apply some strokes with a low opacity brush. Use the brush with a low opacity when you need to add these little touches and details to your painting. That way you maintain the essence of the tones that you have underneath. With lighter tones than we have in the painting, I'll shape the sides of the water to get those waves. At the ends of the sphere, I'll just retouch the colours and the shapes to strengthen that water effect. In the area of water that I painted above, I'll paint a drop falling just to emulate even more that water texture, and also so it just doesn't look like a blob of paint. I'll retouch the final details. Remember, you can erase the areas you need to adjust the shape of the water to the sphere. It's good to make these little touches at the end and see what things need changing and which ones we could leave. So with that, our water texture is finished. As you can see, if we use reference photos, we can really get interesting results that stand out, and it didn't even take us that long. I hope you're still enjoying the project, and I will see you for the next lesson where we'll do our glass texture.